What's going on, my friends? My name is Moses, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down CDProject's stock and answering the question, should you invest in this company? I'm also going to be doing a review of Cyberpunk 2077 because it does tie into the recent price action of the stock. If you don't know who CD Projekt is, they've made a lot of great games, particularly one of the most memorable franchises, The Witcher. If you haven't played that game, I would highly recommend you to check it out. It is one of the best RPGs of all time, particularly The Witcher 3. The other games in the series are great, but The Witcher 3 stands head and shoulders above all those other games, so I would highly recommend you to check it out. Just when you think 2020 can't get any worse, Cyberpunk 2077 comes out. This game was one of the most anticipated games of 2020, and it was delayed numerous times, starting to get a lot of people in the gaming community frustrated. The release of this game caused an outrage due to the terrible quality of the game itself. For some systems, it seemed almost unplayable or a completely different game, and quite frankly, a lot of people were angry due to the undelivered promises due to releasing an unfinished game. You don't have to be a rocket scientist if you played the game to know that the game it's unfinished. It's really an unfinished game. It has a lot of potential, but it seems that they just rushed everything just to get the game out, and the quality of the game definitely suffered. Now, I've put a lot of time into this game, and I mean a lot. Regardless of all the issues that the game came out with at launch, I personally think it was a great game. I didn't have very many issues running the game, and I kind of have a potato for PC. But I personally didn't have that many issues. I did have an issue with my first PC because I've actually gone through two PCs playing this game. My first PC shorted out and it fried the whole motherboard. I have no idea if it was related to the game itself, but the game itself is very demanding. So I'm sure that definitely put a strain on my PC. I did build a PC within 2 days, or my dad built a PC because he's a computer technician and he actually let me have it. So the second PC ran the game very well, given that it's not the best equipment. I was able to play the game at a consistent 30 frames per second, medium quality on 1080p. I had almost no issues, unless, I tried to up the quality of the game. That's where I started running into a little bit of the frame rate issues. Mind you, this game is meant to be played at 60 FPS. That's where it's really going to look the best, at ultra high settings. If you have a rig that can support something like that, not most rigs can. I'll be straight up. This game is very demanding. Not most rigs can support something like that. Or if you have a next-gen console, then you will definitely get the most enjoyment out of the graphical settings of this game. The character development in this game as well was very good. Judy, one of the romanceable options, as well as Pam, were some of the best characters that I ever came across in any game, as well as Johnny Silverhand himself, the main character beside V. V's character and narration was something that was tolerable. It wasn't anything that was, head and shoulders above everything else, but it was tolerable. It was pretty good. Like most games nowadays, this game has been plagued with glitches at the release. However, CD Projekt has been on top of it and is working on updates to stop a lot of the game-breaking glitches, primarily the ones that hinder the progress of the player themselves. They are also working on a lot of graphical enhancements for the game to help the game run better on last-gen and next-gen consoles, as well as PC. I would recommend this game to anybody that's considering buying it. Like I mentioned, it is a great game. It just needs some time. If you go into that understanding that, then you will get the most enjoyment out of this game, especially as time goes on. For those of you that have played the game already, I'm curious to know what your opinion is on it. Please feel free to comment down below. I'd be more than happy to check it out. One might ask themselves, where does CD Projekt go from here, given that this game was such a rocky launch? And it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They seem to be taking a lot of steps in the right direction, being a little bit more customer service oriented and understanding the general public's frustration with this game. So it's going to be really exciting to see the progress of this game as time goes on. When it comes to fundamentals, CD Projekt actually has some decent fundamentals. They have lots of assets, low debt, which is something that you definitely want to see as an investor. However, they do have high capital expenditure. They spend a lot of money. And you can particularly see when they started spending more and more money and making less money when they were making Cyberpunk. This company is a small cap company, and they don't have that many games in the market. Some of the more popular games, like I mentioned before, are the Witcher series and Cyberpunk. So they're not making as much money as every other company. Also, they do have extremely low liquidity. They don't have many investors. When the shares sold off about 25% over the past week or so, around when Cyberpunk came out, that doesn't necessarily mean that a lot of people pulled out their money. It could have been a couple people that were just major stakeholders and it caused the stock to sell off. So do keep that in mind. Should you invest in this company? Ultimately, that's your decision to make. Personally, I would rather invest in something that offers a little bit more diversification, like a mutual fund. However, if you are looking to invest in an individual stock, now might be the perfect time to invest in CDProjekt due to their recent sell-off. Depending on how they handle this moving forward, it might make a perfect entry price for a long-term position. There is still hope for CDProjekt. It's on them to see how they proceed. There are some things that you want to keep in mind when investing in this company. You want to keep in mind the company's history. They do have a solid company history, and they do have very strong customer service, which they pride themselves in. Another thing to keep in mind is that this is listed in the Polish stock exchange, so depending on where you invest from, there could be different fees associated with that. What I would keep an eye out for is the future of the business, how they respond to all this, and also, will Cyberpunk have multiplayer, and will it come with microtransactions? I know the gaming community isn't too fond of microtransactions, however they do provide some benefits if you are willing to spend money on them, and they also come as another form of cash flow for the company itself, which is great for investors. Another thing you want to keep an eye out for is, will they rush to make another game? Like, will they rush to make something like The Witcher 4? If they do, that can be a very bad sign, especially if they haven't fixed the issues with Cyberpunk already. Another thing you want to keep an eye out for is how they fix consumer trust. That's really the biggest one, because once consumer trust is hurt, it's very hard to build that trust back up. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that like button and subscribe for future content. If you do like the video, it lets me know that you guys are enjoying the video and to make more content such as this, and it also gets this content out to people such as yourself that are looking for this kind of content. It's greatly appreciated on my end. I can't thank you guys enough. Until next time, guys. Oh, and by the way, if you're considering investing, if you're considering putting money in the stock market, I highly recommend that you check out the link below. It's a link to Robinhood. If you sign up using that link, Robinhood will offer us one free stock, both me and you, and that stock can value anywhere from $1 all the way to $250. Who doesn't like free stocks? Let's make some money, guys. Until next time.